It is Kieran Trippier. It is delicious! Glorious! Glorious!
Walker in there too. Luke Shaw! Harry Kane wants it played into him. He chooses Grealish instead. It's Grealish! It's Kane! I think like this has happened for a long time. Here's the overhead kick from Dyer. Palmer finds Watkins. Watkins turns! Watkins scores!
Hello, and welcome to the Gate 102 podcast. I hope I found you well. Thank you so much for tuning in as I talk about Southgate's 27th game as manager. I also hope you enjoyed my recent episode. That was me talking about England's first ever Nations League game, which ended in a 2-1 defeat to Spain at Wembley Stadium. That episode, just like the others, are available wherever you get your podcasts. So the game I'm talking about today is in fact a friendly, and this was against Switzerland at the King Power Stadium, home of Leicester City. Now this was the second time England were playing at this stadium. The first time we played there was back in June 2003, where England won 2-1 against Serbia and Montenegro. Steven Gerrard and Joe Cole were the scorers that game. And believe it or not, Gareth Southgate actually started in defence that game. So that was the last time we played at the King Power. And 15 years later, England were back against Switzerland. So I'll run through the team. It was Jack Butland in goal, a back three of Kyle Walker, James Tarkowski. I had this problem last time we played. And Harry Maguire. Obviously familiar surroundings for Maguire, having previously played for Leicester. Trent Alexander-Arnold started at right wing-back, with Danny Rose at left wing-back on the opposite flank. It was then a midfield three of Eric Dyer, who was captain, alongside Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Fabian Delph. And then it was a front two of Danny Welbeck and Marcus Rashford. And this was actually Welbeck's last game in an England shirt. Under Southgate. I mean, there's still the odd chance he could return now, but I strongly doubt that. So in total, that was 9 changes from the team that lost 2-1 to Spain. And with this being a friendly, we had the chance to experiment and have a look at a few players. Now, Switzerland were a good team. Not that FIFA rankings mean anything, but they were ranked 14th in the world going into this game. And they actually reached the round of 16 at the World Cup in 2018. They actually lost to Sweden. And if they'd have won that game, they would have actually played England in the quarter-final. Obviously, that didn't happen. But they were still a really good team. And it was certainly going to be a test and a challenge, which is what you want from these friendlies, really. You want to be testing yourself. But if I'm honest, the first half wasn't great for England. And I think it's because they were playing with a team that didn't really have much experience of playing together. You know, Welbeck and Rashford were 2 experienced players with a lot of caps between them, but this was one of the only times they played together. I think this lack of understanding between the players was clear to see in the first half. England just lacked cohesion, really, especially in the final third. But yeah, Switzerland were the better team in the first half, I'd say. If I'm honest, should have scored. Shaqiri, who was probably Switzerland's best player at the time, he was playing for Liverpool as well. He hit the post early on, and it was all because of England's doing, really. We gifted him a chance. Jack Butland, it was, playing out from the back, and his pass didn't reach Tarkowski. And it meant Shaqiri was in goal. But like I said, thankfully, he hit the post, but a real let-off for England. All came from their own doing, that chance. But Switzerland definitely had the majority of shots in the first 45 minutes. The only really noticeable chance England had was from Eric Dyer, who had a header from a free kick that just went wide the near post. But apart from that, we didn't really have a chance worthy of note, really, and it sort of summed up the first half. It was flat, and like I said, part of this was because for a lot of these players, it was the first time they'd played together. So it was a rather disappointing first half, but England came out in the second half and, if I'm honest, looked like a different team. I don't know what Southgate said at half time, but yeah, second half was miles better straight from the off. And in the 54th minute of the game, England got their goal, and it was Marcus Rashford for the second game running, found the net. His fifth goal for his country in total. But it was a really lovely finish. First time volley from inside the box, far post. England had a corner and Switzerland failed to clear it, which meant Walker crossed it in, and Rashford was there at the back post to volley home. Yeah, a really, really good goal. And it capped off a brilliant camp for Rashford, really. As I said, 2 goals in 2 games. And Southgate would have been really encouraged by this. Later on in the second half, Southgate brought on Kieran Trippier and John Stones, which I think took us up another gear, really. A bit more experience. And obviously they had a better understanding of playing together. But Southgate also brought on Ben Chilwell, and this was his debut for England. So a special moment for him. And also he was doing it on home soil as well, being a Leicester City player at the time. So yeah, really nice way for Chilwell to get his debut. And that's what I think you like to see in these friendlies. You like to see players given the debut. And yes, and Ben Chilwell got his debut in this game. But I also want to give credit to the man he was replacing, and that was Danny Rose. I thought he may be alongside with Rashford. I'd say were England's best players on the night. Rose played at left wing back, and look, it wasn't an enthralling performance from England, and no one could really say that they played the best, but I think Rose probably stood out, and I remember thinking that at the time. So the main positive is that obviously England won the game 1-0, and it ended their 3-game losing streak. But other positives, as I've said, I thought Rose and Rashford were brilliant down the left-hand side, linking up really well. It was also another run out for people like Trent, Jack Butland, Loftus-Cheek, Tarkowski. I think it is Tarkowski. I really should know this by now, but I'm starting myself. But yeah, like I said, it's what these friendlies are all about, giving these players opportunities, giving them minutes. And yeah, it was a win for England and lots of positives to take. And Southgate would have learned a lot from this game, as well as the Nations League game against Spain. So all in all, it was a good set of fixtures, I'd say. But the next game I'll be talking about is another Nations League game, and that was away at Croatia. And this game was actually behind closed doors, believe it or not. But I'll explain why and talk more about that game in my next episode, which will be coming out next week. But thank you for listening to today's episode. Always appreciated. A quick reminder before I finish that we're on Twitter, Facebook, Blue Sky, and Instagram. So please do give us a follow. If you haven't already, then you won't miss any content or announcements coming up over the next few weeks. But until next time, take care of yourselves. I hope you all have a good rest of the week. And yeah, I'll see you soon.